One of the most profound things I've learned in my life is that it's actually not about my hair at all. I've spent a lifetime trying to cover up who I am. And as much as I love a good external transformation, and I do, I much more love a heart transformation. Join me as I share how I work to heal my heart, find happiness, and embrace our hair. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to It's Not About Your Hair, where we talk all things hair, heart, and happiness. I believe this is episode 30. 30. You know, most podcasts don't make it past the first 6 episodes. Only the strong survive, friends. So I'm glad that you're here. If you've been here for all 30, boy, hot diggity dog, would you leave a comment and say been here for it? Because it'd be really fun to know how many of you have been tuning in. And I would really love if you would take an extra second to let me know your favorite episode. And just thank you. My goodness, thank you. So if you're brand new to this podcast, what is it about? Is it about curly hair? Absolutely not, but I have curly hair, so we talk about it a lot. Is it about Jesus? Not necessarily, but we do talk about him. Is it about, what is it about? Anything goes. On the It's Not About Your Hair podcast, we talk about the way that we perceive life around us and how we move forward through it. We're in a 4-part series using the lens of the Motivation Manifesto by Brenda Burchard, Brendon, reach out to me. I would love to be in your circle of friends, your Friday checkpoints. When you're checkpointing with your friends, call on me. I need you. Anyways, that's a little plug. I'm believing and receiving that. But today we're in this series, we've been talking about things that I'm personally struggling with. And so I think that those are always great places to teach from because you're learning at the same time, right? So we're all struggling. Newsflash, you're not alone. You are unique in the simple fact that perhaps you feel like you're alone, but you're not. We're all super struggling and we're all on the struggle bus, but we can find joy, we can find hope, and we can believe that our lives matter. And when we do that, even in the struggle, we almost get fired up. You guys, I get, not always, but pretty quickly, I can reshift my mindset to, the greatest opposition is usually the entry point to the next level. So most people get to the opposition and they quit. Why? Because it's hard. That's why. But for those of you who are brave enough to break the sound barrier, you enter the next level. And so that's what we're trying to do on this podcast is take off our glasses of our past misconceptions and expose the truth and to get unstuck and move forward together to realize our worthiness and our calling. So when we came back with 4 topics. It was controlling what we can. I forgot. Then it was how to be present. That was last week. That was good. Go back. And today it's about choice. Let's take a deep breath. Thanks for being here. Sometimes, in order to be present, we just have to take a deep breath, touch our feet to the ground, look around, find something to be grateful for. And today, we're going to talk about choice. We're going to read another little excerpt. I don't know what the word is. We're going to read another little page from our book, the Motivation Manifesto, and we're going to take a little knowledge from the word, and we're also just going to talk because I'm here for you, and thank you for being here for me. So I have said this before, but I'm an external processor. So honest to goodness, you guys, communicating what I'm going through and how I'm feeling helps me so much. And the people around me don't want to hear from me. My kids often say that I have a sermon or a motivational speech for everything. And sometimes they just want me to be an active listener to them. So I'm thankful for your active listening ears towards me, because when I share, I get revelation on how to move from my stuckedness. And so today, my goodness golly, let's talk about choice. So we have some choice. I read this today. Here it is. If you're watching, Motivation Manifesto, delightful. Okay, page 157. This is about choice in our minds, in our lives, and really learning. This is a muscle that needs to be flexed. And you have a choice, not about your life necessarily, but how you see your life. And so let me just read a little bit for you. We are to be radiant, grateful, buoyant people, basking in our blessing and striving cheerfully towards our dreams under the bright and loving sunshine of the divine. It takes only will and conditioning to enjoy such a life. Let us make the choice to re-examine our attitude and orientation to life, to cultivate a more positive and present pulse. Let us declare we shall practice joy and gratitude, the jewel of life. The greatest of human freedoms is the ability to choose at any moment the palette of our emotional sky. I love that. The palette of our emotional sky. We alone activate the very energy and emotion through which we experience life. If we wish to feel joy and gratitude in our life, then we must direct our beliefs and behaviors in order to accomplish that end. And we must do it constantly with such force and repetition that those emotions become the hues of our daily attitude. This is not easy work, but let it be our mission. Perhaps the service requirement of the good life is to have the constancy of mind to maintain our joy and gratitude even amidst hardship, pain, and injustice. So we get to choose the palette of our emotional sky. Think about that, you guys. I talked about how my pastor has talked about Pigpen from Charlie Brown and how he always had this storm cloud around him. We create the emotional sky that surrounds us. That doesn't mean we create the things that happen to us. And it's okay to have sadness. It's okay to have joy. It's okay to have fear. It's okay to have frustration. It's okay to have all of the feelings. It's just not okay to be stuck in any one of them or live a life that the lens in which we look through, again with the glasses. I want you guys to buy a pair of glasses and keep them on your dashboard if you listen in your car or at home when you're reading, just so you can have that visual reminder clicking that you have to bump into these things. Click, click, click. This isn't real, okay? Not real. We can choose to take these off and change how we look at the world around us. So today, our choice is what kind of emotional sky do we want to have? What do we want to believe? I struggle with I've shared this before. I have a hard time with other people being sad or being stuck in sadness. And here's the truth, it's not about me. So it is okay for people to be on their journey. And this goes back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, is we can choose who we hang out with and how we spend our time. And for me, I do want my emotional sky to be full of rainbows. So that doesn't mean that I don't allow in a dark cloud and a storm. It means that I trust that the dark cloud and the storm are going to water the soil so that my plants grow, my heart grows. It's cultivating food for my mind and heart. And it's bringing about adversity, gives me the opportunity to break through. You know, I think about those flowers that grow in the cracks of the sidewalks. How did they get there? That's what we want to be. We need to be able to create an environment where If fear is your constant thought, what do you need to do to eradicate fear from your life? You need to have gratitude. You need to look around for proof that what you're fearing, because fear is false evidence appearing real, is not real. Perhaps at one time in your life, you had something real happen around that, but it doesn't mean it's always going to happen that way. We need to look for things that are worthy of looking at. We need to trust that the world is better than we think it is. And we need to choose how we want to be and what we want to bring to the people around us. And then we have to learn to wield our power with active listening. That's been we did that practice at church camp when we went. I'm talking about church camp a lot because it was really encouraging for me. But we did this thing where we broke up in groups of 5, and every person, we started with 2.5 minutes and ended at 5, had 5 minutes to share a story. We had a topic, and each person had to share a story based on that topic. And if they didn't fill the entire 5 minutes, then we would just sit and think about what they had shared. We weren't allowed to talk or offer advice. Imagine that was very hard for me. We weren't supposed to ask questions. We were practicing only to listen, which is a skill I think I have struggled with, and maybe you have too. Sometimes people, most of the time, need us to listen. And in that listening, we discover more about them and maybe ways that we can meet their needs, or we learn more about their story, and it helps give us grace for them when we recognize things we don't like or when we see ourselves inside of them. And sometimes we need to take action and move into what is next for us. And we need to get out of being stuck in our feelings. So what is it that you are stuck in? What is your emotional sky? Only you can answer that. I would say that your homework this week is to really think about what you think about. How do you show up? Are you angry? Are you happy? Are you avoiding? Are you depressed? Are you anxious? What is your emotional climate? And then I want you to ask yourself, what do I think about? What do I obsessively think about? Because this is a choice. I'm going to go into we're going to get into the Word of God. Join me. Don't worry, don't leave. If you don't believe it, I always say, don't leave. And let me just give you a little insight, because I'm always like, okay, well, how do I do that? Because I hear a lot of people talk about taking your thoughts captive and, you just shouldn't think about that. But how do we do that? What's the how? So Philippians 4. Uh, 4:8. Okay, let's do this together. Let me pull it up here because my camera loses focus. 4:8. How do we change our thinking, our stinking thinking? Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, is there anything worthy of praise? Think about these things and what you have learned and heard and seen in me, and practice these things, and the peace of God will be with you. So, what is the step? What are the things we're supposed to be thinking about? Whatever is true. Are you thinking about some untruths? Are you over political? People over politics, you guys. People over politics. Remember this. I will never talk to you about the intricacies, because I don't have that. But I will tell you, people over politics, whatever is true. What's true is that the you next to you, Andy Stanley, is more important than your political beliefs. Okay? Remember that. So whatever is true. That will also help you to calm down. Whatever is honorable. What's honorable in your life to think about? What's just? How do you want to be treated? What's fair? Whatever is pure. Pure? good, boiled down, whatever's lovely. I'm really into the summertime, so I would say flowers, playing badminton with my family. We put our badminton up in the front yard. We're those neighbors because our backyard's not sufficient for a badminton net. What is lovely? Whatever is commendable. What in your life is commendable? Whatever is excellent. What's excellent? What do you really think is excellent? What's worthy of praise? Think about these things. When we think about these types of things, it changes our emotional sky. It gives us gratitude. There's far more beautiful, worthy, lovely things to think about. We're not going to focus on our past. We're not going to focus on what we're afraid of. We're not going to focus on, and when we begin to allow these other ways of thinking to come in, it releases us. There's just not enough time to think about all the other things. So how can you, in your life today, activate some activities of choice, some thinking of things that are lovely? Maybe you keep a journal with you, right here, that you can write down when you notice something lovely. It's a training, you guys. It's not a, I'm going to get there. We talked about this. One of my pastors talked about this week, that you can't just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to try to run a marathon. If you haven't trained at all, well, guess what? You're not going to do it. And then you're probably going to give up. And that's what most of us are doing with our lives, as we wake up, because we live in an instant gratification world, and we say, I'm going to do blank. And then we try it for 37 seconds. It doesn't work. And we give up and go back to our mind-numbing scrolling. Let this be your stopper into the scroll. Actually watch the whole 30-second video. You're capable. My goodness sake. And we quit. But it's training, not trying. So if there's anything that you really want to accomplish in your life, you must train. You must train the skill. You must train the mindset. And if you want to do it really well, like the example of a marathon, you're not just going to run every day. You're going to strength train to build your muscles around the running. You're going to have days of rest. Every week, you're going to have rest days. You're not just going to run and run and run because you'll wear yourself out. You're going to have nutritional challenges. You're going to hydrate. Okay? This is the same with training our emotional sky. If you are used to being negative, then you have to train yourself to think positively. If you are used to focusing on what's bad, you need to turn off your freaking phone. You need to turn off, you need to unfollow all the political things. You need to unfollow the people always talking about your triggers and your trauma. Not that you can't, but once you know what they are, then you need to work these things out, whether with a therapist, with God, with someone else, but you don't need to focus on them all the time. You need to allow them because they were a storm that came into your life. But what came out of the storm? Where's the rainbow? What's the fruit from the watering? What is it, you guys? And you have to train yourself through daily practices of taking your thoughts captive, of how you're going to get to the next level. Remember, the greatest adversity happens right before the breakthrough. You're on the verge, my beautiful friends. You're on the verge. If you feel like all is lost, I'm in a really rocky spot in my house right now. I feel a lot of uncertainty. I got one kid who's a real blown grown up out in the world, and that's awesome. But that's also a transition for me, for her. She's really great. She's more adult than I am 90% of the time. I got another kid, like I talked about, thinking about joining the military. Not thinking about it, actively working towards joining the military, which just got my belly, first of all, super excited. And I have to choose to rewire it because part of me wants to be afraid. Afraid of what? What if nothing scary ever happens to her other than the fact that she breaks out of her comfort zone? What if she does get to live overseas in Germany for 2 years and has the most epic time of her life? What if she learns so many great skills about herself and becomes like, I don't need to focus on what if she gets deployed and something awful happens? My dad spent 38 years in the military and loved every second of it, 39 years, I think, when he retired. His wife is still in. What if she enjoys every second of it? And just like you or I has a bad day at work from time to time, we have to take the negative thoughts captive and change our emotional sky to gratitude. What if we're grateful for the adversity that brings us closer to the reality that today is a gift? You choose. You choose. So what your parents did in the past, whether bad, good, super shitty, sorry I said that, or really excellent, it was in your past. Today is the day to choose for you how you will move today in your life and tomorrow. The past is something we have to work through and let go. It cannot be the glasses that we wear. We cannot wear the lenses of our past, or we will not move forward in our lives. We have to make a choice that we are moving into an emotional sky that is raining down gratitude, joy, present moments, opportunities to love others better. I mean, you can do this. I believe in you. And I think that you're worthy of it. So thank you for tuning in today. I hope that you're one step closer to the life you want to live, that you know that today is a gift. It is the present. That you are, one step away from tomorrow if today really sucks, and one step away from the you want to be. So let's go. Let's go. And I really am thankful that you're here. You're worthy of love. You look great. I'm glad that you're you, because no one else can do the job that you have to do. I guess this is where I ask you to subscribe to my channel, to follow me on social, and to listen wherever podcasts can be found. And join me every Tuesday at 2 as we unpack how to heal your hair, your heart, and your happiness.